Yo, what's up? Welcome back to How to Drum and Bass, a channel where we dive into what the top producers are doing right now and teach it to you so that you can improve your drum bass production. And today I want to talk about not necessarily something by one artist, but something that you hear a lot in jump up, drum and bass, and that's what I've dubbed the lion growl jump up bass hit, for lack of a better name. And essentially, it's just a very messy, very aggressive, very distorted growl or bass hit at the start that sets the tone and makes space for the lead to kick in. So it's that kind of sound. And Upgrade's done it in a few of his songs. Captain Bass, Primate used this type of lion bass growl. And in various other shapes and forms, a lot of sort of contemporary but also older sort of jump-uppy stuff also uses this sound. And it's very powerful. So let's have a look at what I'm talking about exactly and then how we can recreate it, and we can go into the process of two creative, cool techniques to go about making a bass hit like this. So let's dive in. All right, so we're in Ableton and we are in my, currently in my recreation attempt of Jump Up by Captain Bass and Primate, which is insanely hard, but will be coming out somewhere in the next 2 months, hopefully, if I can get this done. But this track is a good example of this sort of lion bass growl. And the reason I'm saying is because it literally sounds like a lion. So this is what I'm talking about. It's like, it's like, right? Very aggressive, but it's nice, it's punchy. We need this, we can use this. So let's go to two ways to sort of do this. The first one being, listen to your ears. What does it sound like? Because not everything is synthesized. I think it sounds like a lion. We can literally go ahead and sample a lion and see what we can make of that. So that's what we did here. I literally just went on a splice, got a sound of a lion growling, and of course you got it's basically vocal, so you got to put it on Complex Pro in the warp mode. But like without any processing, it actually already sounds like this. That's already really powerful. I came from the whole sample, which is like a little bit longer. But yeah, you can just sort of fade it in, right? And use the cut out the parts that you don't need. Get this. And then what we can do is, like, because it's an audio sample, we can mess around with the pitch, right? So we can introduce a shifter. But actually probably the pitch that it's at's pretty good. You could even introduce some ring modulation. Get even more interesting timbres. Then we can do some saturation if we want to. That's maybe a bit too much, but like that could be. Or we can add some overdrive and get some of those more sort of local frequencies going. I think that sounds more like nice and distorted the way that we're looking for. And then, of course, you know, we can EQ it and we can just put a big fat sub under it. So let's grab a sub, right, and combine the two. So that is one way, which I think this is really fun because this is what you should also be doing as an artist. You should be making use of creative audio samples. But let's say that you didn't want to do that. Of course, we can make something similar in Serum. We can basically just introduce an aggressive sub on triangle wave or saw wave or something like that. Put it at -2, but put it on direct out, just like that sub that we just created for the audio manipulation roar. What we want to have is essentially we want to have distorted wavetable move over time in sort of this growl. So wow. That's like you can see it like in this thing. It's like wow. You want to have one of the like spectral or digital wavetables, just something very sort of greasy and distorted. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add a bunch of processing to it. And the key to getting the lion-y kind of feel is to add a noise layer. So let's turn the noise layer off for now. Let's see what we got. We got this monster wavetable, which is nice and squelchy, currently sounding like this with no effects and nothing. The only thing that's currently modulated is the level all the way up and the bend knob all the way up. To sort of, the bend knob kind of makes it squelchy. Let's turn up the level here. So without the bend knob, it would actually just be, which probably also works, but we want to get some movement in there. And the bend knob is a really nice way to sort of make it kind of squelchy. And squelchy is good because that sounds gnarly and then we can add noise on top of that. So that's essentially that. You can ignore everything in oscillator A. It doesn't matter. It was an experiment. And then we want to get some kind of filter movement going. It doesn't really matter what. Just make sure to select also the noise layer, because we're gonna do something with the noise layer. And essentially this add bass, it's just like a low pass, but just has a little bit of an extra bump here, right? So you can mess around with that, but mostly the function of it is to make it go wow. And then so what we're gonna do before we're gonna add the noise, we're just gonna see, because this is basically gonna be like a hyper growl, like a growl, like AU5 style sort of dubstep growl. So first of all, of course, we want to add some hyper and some dimension, because all growls in the beginning, they have to sound wide and big. So that's what we want to do. So that turns it into just bigger. Then, of course, we want to distort the absolute living shit out of it. So we can map another LFO here that is sort of shaped like this, that lets the distortion start high and become less, just like a roar that's sort of fading. Also add some volume to it, makes it nice. And the asim is really quite nice for this. But what we're also going to do is we're going to pre-filter here. And this is literally just a filter within the distortion, but it's very convenient. And we're going to give it some resonance here. And we're going to cut out a little bit of those highs here. Just control the timbre a bit. Then we can add an EQ, take out more of those highs, and actually get like a little bit of a sweep going on the sort of those frequencies. So in the lion roar, we saw here that the sound that we wanted got better when we added some distortion in the 300 to 400 hertz area. So what we're going to do here in this growl is we're just going to sort of accentuate the same area here, but then with an EQ, right? This LFO is mapped to the frequency, and it's going to sweep somewhere just, in those lower mid slash low frequencies. And it's going to give it more of the wow without. See, it's going to give it sort of that animal characteristic. And then, of course, like anything, we want to compress it, just get more of the sound out. And then we want to maybe do a little bit of extra filtering. And this sounds so different because now the drive is up. And I just really like the way that the drive from the filters in Serum distorts stuff. So this already sounds pretty good for a bass growl. It's kind of squelchy, it's not really very pronounced. But now we can add some noise on top of it. So literally just, you grab one of these analog noises. It doesn't really matter all that much. And there we go. Now we've got like a nice lion sort of growl. And of course, you don't have to, but you can also modulate the level of this to sort of move with the general shape of the sound. And then we can go into further processing, right? We can maybe add a glue compressor, or maybe not. We can maybe add some overdrive. Make it a bit more aggressive. We can do all kinds of things. Maybe that's a bit too much, but essentially we got it. And so it will fit quite nicely into the mix. So yeah, in terms of this still terrible recreation, you could either have the lion roar here, right? Which would sound like this. Or we could use the growl that we created, which is a little bit loud, but still. And the audio sample is just a fun way to do it. This is probably what I would personally do if I was trying to make a song that's my own thing, because it's original. But this growl, if you just make one, you can also freestyle on that numerous amounts of times and make more interesting stuff, or make something with a little bit more movement or a different kind of character, and just really make some really strong bass hits for that start of your awesome song. All right, that was the video. I hope you guys liked it. If you do, and you love my stuff, make sure to check out the link in the description, not just for the free presets, but also to pre-register, because I am going to release a course where you're going to see much more of me in depth, going from start to finish on a jump up track. And for anyone who registers now while it's not out yet, you get 50% when it comes out if you pre-register with that link. So go check it out, and I hopefully will see you in the next video.